I've come up with a new word I want to share with you, and that word is emotivictive. Now, you won't find it in the dictionary or see it on the internet. I believe it's important and it describes where we are today in society. If you've noticed recently, people tend to have a lot of feelings and emotions about what they believe. And when they share, they're just not sharing a view objectively, it's very subjective and very personal. In fact, if you disagree with someone's opinion when they share it, they get upset and they don't feel safe around you and they're hurt. Now, this is really a difficult thing because it eliminates having any good discussion. If every time we say something and somebody doesn't agree with our view, we're offended, then how are we going to live life? How are we going to get along? How are we going to grow and appreciate someone else's view if we don't take time to listen to it? You know, Jesus said in John chapter 17, in verse 1, he said, offense is going to come. There's going to be opportunity for you to be offended. But we have a choice in that. I love John Bevere in his book, The Bait of Satan. I think he describes it so well that this word for betrayal or offense is the Greek word scandalon. It's where we get our word scandalous. When you set a trap for an animal, you put a bait on it. And where you set that bait to trigger the trap is called the scandalon. And that place, when we find ourselves and we have that choice, because don't forget, being offended is a choice. We don't have to be offended. But when we are offended, we've swallowed that bait. And now all of a sudden, we're angry, we're upset, we're emotivictive. And if we do it long enough, we become an emotive victim. How do we live and be so secure that we aren't offended? Is it possible to live that way? I think it is. I think Jesus modeled that. And it's something we can strive for. You know, when Jesus was going up to the upper room for the Last Supper, the Passover with his disciples, it had to be heavy on him what was about to happen. Betrayal, beating, and crucifixion. But he wants to celebrate this meal with the men that are closest to him. And that's on his mind. But what are they thinking about? The Bible says they're arguing among themselves who is the greatest. Isn't that crazy? But what does Jesus do? He doesn't rebuke them for their wrong attitude. Instead, he models how not to be offended. In John 13, verses 3 and 4, it says that Jesus, knowing who he was, where he had come from, where he was going, he got up from the table and put a towel around himself and began to wash the feet of the disciples. See, Jesus didn't need their applause. He didn't need their approval. He was secure in who he was. And that's the key to not be offended. When you are secure in who you are unoffendable because you don't need somebody who's like you. Paul said, if God is for me, who cares who's against me? So I want to encourage you today. Don't take up the offense. Don't get trapped by the scandalon. And don't become an emotive victim.